Well, hello there. Hi. Happy First Friday. This is Andrew Waltz from the NTC Foundation. Oh, hi from Solari with a nice dinner drop off here. Thank you, sir.
Freshly made for you with love.
There we go. Thank you. A little plug for Solari. Welcome to the Arts District. Hi again. I'm Andrew Waltz with the NTC Foundation, and thank you for joining us at Virtual First Friday. I'd first like to mention a couple little highlights, and also, before I forget, I'd like to say thank you very much to our sponsor, Bank of Southern California, for helping us come to you right here to your living rooms, socially distanced, and I just want to play a quick message from them before we get going. So here's just a brief message from Bank of Southern California.
At Bank of Southern California, we really believe that everyone should be an expert at what they're doing, and their expertise needs to be business banking. Businesses can have complicated needs when it comes to how money comes in and out of their businesses, and we think we understand that better than anyone else in Southern California.
All right, thank you very much. Again, Bank of Southern California is amazing to work with, and they help bring us to your living rooms. I'd also like to mention that Arts District, we are open. There's art, music, dance happening. Many of those programs have moved outdoors. There are several galleries, and museums, and shops that are all open with limited hours and safety restrictions in place. And so come down and check out the campus. There's things you can see and do every day of the year. And we even have some new outdoor art installation projects. So if you just want to come and wander around and explore outside casually, you can see the installations at the station's projects we have. There's a new one called Transcending Perception by the Aja Project. And that's right near the lot, which, great place to grab dinner and see a movie. I'd also like to say I'm excited to mention that we have Art Walk coming to Liberty Station this weekend. They'll be here Saturday and Sunday. There are over 150 artists that you can see in a great socially distanced outdoor setting. You can learn more about Art Walk San Diego at artwalksandiego.org. And I have a quick little highlight from them.
Hi, my name is Kurt Broker. I'm a co-director here at Art Walk San Diego. We are so excited to be able to finally hold our outdoor gallery this weekend at Liberty Station. We have close to 150 artists that are overwhelmed and ready to go and have so much art to sell. And they've been working this whole time with being creative and getting all their pieces ready to go and finally have a place to sell. So we are overjoyed in being able to offer an incredible location like Liberty Station to be able to hold Art Walk at Liberty Station this weekend from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day on Saturday and Sunday. And just to let you know that face masks will be mandatory. Everyone will get their temperature taken as they enter. And we've in placed all these new protocols to just make sure that we have a safe and just fun outdoor environment for everyone to enjoy. So I'm inviting you personally to come join us. Come purchase your tickets in advance at artwalklibertystation.org, and hope to see you this weekend.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. I always look forward to checking out Art Walk and seeing the new artists. So I hope everybody can come down and enjoy that at the beautiful Liberty Station setting. Also, just a couple quick highlights. If you're looking for studio space, whether it's an art gallery, studio, or creative office space, look no further. Arts District has some great opportunities for you, and you can be a part of the community. And by being here, you can help present some of these amazing programs we try to present to the community. And so if you're interested in leasing a space, you can check that out at ntcfoundation.org and just scroll to the bottom of the webpage, and you can learn about leasing. And also, if you just want to learn more about our programs, if a friend forwarded you this event link, you can go to ntcfoundation.com ntcfoundation.org/newsletter. Sorry, ntcfoundation.org/newsletter. And you can sign up to get our monthly updates, newsletters, and all kinds of great news about our programs. And you can also find the link to our Stay Connected page, which has all the new updates and things that are happening. And we keep that up fresh and up to date with just interesting new things around campus. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, we do have a great Salute the Season program that we do in partnership with our community association. And so there'll be lights, the tree will be lit up, there'll be all kinds of cool things you can come down and check out. Again, socially distanced for this new era, and just I encourage everybody to come down and celebrate their holidays here with us over the next couple of months. And then with that, I am excited to announce we have our first presenter is artist Leslie Pierce, who has her studio here in Barracks 19 on the second floor. And she's here to present some of her artwork. Leslie Pierce.
And normally you do see that sort of disproportionately provisional ballots are in heavily Democratic areas. And they end up breaking forcefully for the Democrats.
Thank you for joining us.
Let me make sure this is in view. And it'll probably be backwards, right? Okay, but you get it.
That looks great.
Goes with my artwork and everything. So I'm pretty glued to the TV, so I'm a little distracted. But I will do my best. So happy election week, everybody.
Just to let you know, we have a little bit of interference in the background, so I don't know if you can turn down any atmospheric sound, but
it's probably MSNBC. Let me see which tab it's on. I'll be right back.
It's considered spoiled.
Okay. Oh, perfect. And I would take myself.
I can't find you. Oh, here you are. Great. Well, this is a little bit of my work. I'm working at home today. I am very concerned about COVID, so I won't be going to any COVID fests, anything that promotes groups of people. I have asthma and I'm a little overweight and I'm not in my 20s, so I've been working at home a lot, but I have been sneaking into my studio a little bit. My first time out in like 7-8 months was last week. So, but this is one of my not as successful as I like paintings that I'm working on. That one I like. I use lines. Oh, and by the way, I will have these in time for the holidays. These are prints of my favorite painting from this series, the Codified series. So if you're interested, please DM me, follow me on Instagram under artist Leslie Pierce, and give me a holler on that. I use oil paint for my personal work. I love stacking colors. And tonight, I will be live for a little while. It's usually 2 hours the first Friday of every month on Instagram. And it's have a little follow me program, Painting in a Pandemic with artist Leslie Pierce. So you can paint along with me and listen to my ramblings and kind of just hang out, dance, whatever. I wish it was more interactive on Instagram Live like Zoom, but I do like using the platform for the first Friday from 6 to 8 every month. Although tonight I'm so glued to the TV, I really sincerely doubt I'll be on till 8. Well, you'll hear MSNBC running constantly in the background. Anyway, I started this series called Codified when I was working with, I moved from Austin, Texas. And I ran a group called Austin Full Monty that I founded, all male models. And I was playing with flat versus modeled areas on figure painting. And then I was doing experiments with that for a few years. And then one day I was printing reference images out to work from, and my printer started running out of ink. And it did this on the photograph. So that's how this actually was born. So you can look at anything and see it as art if you're open to it, which I love finding discoveries like that. I also was teaching in my studio, but now I'm only teaching online again. I am concerned about the COVID. There's, let's see, we're up to 125,000 a day infections. So I am only teaching online, but if you're interested in learning encaustic painting or oil painting or acrylic, that's available too. I teach through Zoom now, and I miss my students in person, but we'll see how long. Maybe with a new president, we'll get through all this faster. And by the way, my political rantings does not, it's my own, what I believe in. I don't want Liberty Station to get in trouble for it, but I'm looking forward to positive change in our country. And I'm a patriot. I don't need to drive a pickup truck with a red flag with a crazy hat on or anything, but I'm a patriot, and I might look a little bit different. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. They might be sorry they invited me to be part of this tonight. I don't know. I guess I'll hear the feedback later. So anyway, this was the first one in the series, and I was up for a $50,000 prize, but I had just moved to San Diego about 7 years ago, and the thing was you had to be a Texas artist. I mean, and I could not afford to, the original is 40 by 50, painted on ampersand gesso board, and I was $200 short on the shipping costs because I just moved here and to get it back to Austin. I was one of 10 finalists of the Hunting Art Prize. So I figure one day it will reap rewards in a different way. I've been working on the series on and off. I was painting every day in my studio before the pandemic, so I missed that because the lighting in the studio was just beautiful. It just really made you feel good. Flowing lights, gorgeous. I lucked out. A couple artists before me put in a beautiful wooden floor. So I really enjoy being there, and I am going to come back a little bit. Oh, okay. I'm getting a shout out that you can still hear MSNBC a little in the background. Okay, I'm going to move the tab over towards Steve. What's his name? Steve Komaki, who's at the board showing all the numbers. I'm really enjoying that, and I am going to try and do that. Anyway, I'll just talk louder because I'll have to like exit and then come back on. So hopefully y'all like MSNBC, and if you don't, I can vouch. It's wonderful. Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, Joy Reid, last word, all of them. So I'm excited that we are in times that we feel a positive change coming. I'm definitely a contemporary artist. Some of my influences are Bridget Riley, Ellen Gallagher. I love her too. Monet, and some of the Renaissance artists, of course, Leonardo. And I use some of the techniques that they use, but with brighter colors. And I'm still doing the stacking of colors, although it doesn't look like it. I'm doing layers and layers to make the lines turn different colors in different areas. I love playing with that. I love color theory. I could talk color theory till the cows come home. And I paint every day. So I love what I do. You can just close. Oh, no, I'm not closing the MSNBC tab. Sorry. Not closing it. I mean, I've hardly slept for days. Who knew that we would have an election week? I mean, really, who knew? So anyway, I don't want to miss anything. It's like the finale. It's like you want to know the minute it happens. I was up the other day at 3 o'clock in the morning when, all of a sudden these numbers came in and it changed everything. And anyway, I have a lot of hope for the country. I'm a contemporary artist, and I care deeply about what is going on in society. So this, again, this series is called Codified. Let me move some of this out of the way. Come into my living room. Okay, here's my living room, studio, office, and here's another one. You can see that I did some from reference images from Mission Beach, although unfortunately the camera in my beautiful iMac, it doesn't, the depth of field isn't great, so you really can't see it, although I can bring it to you. So how did I do that? Look, I'm color coordinated with it too. So here's one. And I love painting on ampersand gesso board. So they're one of my sponsors, longtime sponsors. They're a company in Austin, Texas, where I moved from. And I got to be friends with the owner and a couple of the managers there. So shout out to Ampersand. They make great surfaces to paint on, gesso board, clay board, encaustic board. Lots of good surfaces. I prefer painting on boards rather than canvas, just because I like feeling like I'm kind of ice skating on the surface instead of it bouncing back, kind of like a trampoline a little bit. So that's my preference, but whatever you like painting on is a good thing. So let's see what else. I really enjoy being an artist at Liberty Station, and I miss being there full-time. So hopefully, eventually I will be full-time again there, just like all of us. I know definitely there's a thing that, we're all fatigued from the daily drama and the pandemic. So here's to brighter days and health for everyone. And that's about all I have to say, Andrew, wherever you are. I don't know. I hope this has been enjoyable. Again, my name is artist Leslie Pierce. You can find my website, www.artistlesliepiercestudio.com. And also follow me on Facebook under Artist Leslie Pierce and on Instagram. So thank you for visiting my living room. And hopefully maybe next month I'll be able to do it right from my studio in Liberty Station, because I love it there. I am working on a 4x8 foot piece of plywood to be part of the Salute the Season installation that Liberty Station is putting on with a community, Liberty Station Community Association. So couldn't do it there even if I wanted to, and I don't have a computer there, so my phone isn't, I want something bigger. So anyway, hopefully Andrew will come back on and rescue me from here, because I'm not sure who's going to go next. I've lasted 10 minutes. That was pretty good. And I will be live tonight on Instagram.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Andrew.
Well, it's been great. You're doing an amazing job. I love your artwork. It's just so bright and colorful, and just inspiring the way that Codified has come to life. So, oh my gosh, yeah. I just want to have like a giant Codified piece just in my living room as soon as you walk in the house.
I do take installment plan.
Yeah. And can you tell me anything more about just any of the subject matter or like commissions and stuff that?
Okay, I'd be glad
to your style.
Well, I did have my first international sale a little over a year ago. A couple from England came in, and a lot of them are activities of people doing things outside together at the beach, because in Austin it was completely different, because it was so hot. You don't want to be hanging, although everyone drinks margaritas on patios there at the margarita places, which is fun and good for people watching, but there's a lot more activity all the time here. So this was actually at Balboa Park, so I take snapshots, kind of slice of life No pun intended. I've done Surf Rider. there's a hotel in Mission Beach. So that was the first place I started visiting when I moved to San Diego. And I was just fascinated by the Surf Rider Hotel because it has it's funky. Maybe it was from the 70s or 80s, and it has surfboards built in. I loved how the shadows would show. So this is my second. You can't see the whole thing. Oh, darn. Wonder if there's the, yeah, there's that part of it. So I've done a couple paintings of that. Mission Beach, the roller coaster at Belmont. Just things of people just doing everyday things at art openings, gatherings of people. That's what my favorite thing to do is just beautiful scenes or just snapshots that freeze a beautiful moment in time.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for presenting tonight. I'm really inspired by your work, and so I hope and I know everybody else out here is. And I look forward to seeing more of your work and seeing you again back at your gallery and your studio and in the coming months. And so
thank you
for joining us. And please remember, everybody, Leslie also will be doing a gallery studio piece is it from starting at 6, I think, tonight, Leslie?
I am doing Painting in a Pandemic with artist Leslie Pierce on Instagram Live. Starting at 6, but seriously, depending on what's going on MSNBC, I might be on for 5 minutes tonight. And I will make a sign because I'm just on the edge of my seat and then in 1 hour, I peel me off the ceiling. It's I'm looking forward to a new president, a good leader. So anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you again. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Everybody.
It's so beautiful. I love seeing the break music. So I'd like to transition. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into one of our programs, which I don't think a whole lot of people know about from them. We have an amazing program that's been in the works for about 3 years or so, installations at the station. Every year we highlight and work with and commission local made outdoor public works, so temporary nature space around the Arts District, which just adds a little bit of local public art, public spaces, makes the space more engaging, fun, and creative. This year, we were really excited to have worked with the Asha Project. Just last week, they installed a new project by Osimar Gonzalez. And again, that's just outside of the Liberty Station,
which is just off Truxton and Roosevelt. I encourage everybody to come down and check out that new piece. It's amazing. Just the narrative is very very relevant to today's era that we're in. But there's so many amazing works that are all around campus. And so I have just a brief video I'd like to show you just about highlighting some of those and some of the process. So we'll play that for you now.
For the past 10 years, it's really been remarkable what's been going on in these historic Navy buildings. This used to be a barracks building. There were 50 sailors bunked on the first floor of this building here. Now we recognize here's an opportunity to transform these staid, monochromatic buildings that looked like a Navy base into really a more vibrant arts district. And that's when we came up with the notion for installations at the station.
This was a program that we created because we recognize that there are so many artists in San Diego, working artists, creative people, that need to have their artwork shown. We asked the artists to address the history of the Naval Training Center, the history of the region, and we wanted them to also be thinking about their own current creative practices.
I was attracted to participate in this project of installations at the stations because I've been always interested in doing something in San Diego. And when I heard about this whole call for artists for installation at the stations at NTC, I immediately jumped at the chance.
We loved the idea that he was going to create 16 murals over 16 days and that he was going to engage the community.
Me going to a public space and in a limited amount of time, create a narrative, improvise a narrative. Just going to a place like a jazz musician and then just improvise a narrative.
With this first installations at the station, I've been so impressed by the work. I've been impressed by the artists that have submitted proposals. I'm excited about moving forward and watching this grow because I have a feeling this is going to be a very exciting, engaging project.
Awesome. I can't tell you how much fun it is to just see that process evolve from behind the scenes and see these projects start as a concept from some of our amazing local artists and just turn into reality, pop up all over campus. So it's just inspiring to walk around and see that. And just as a quick segue into that, we also have worked with many of our tenants, throughout creative tenants at Arts District Liberty Station to create some amazing programming that they do and think of on their own as well. And one of those is from one of our local artists in residence, Lauren Laveau, who's in Barracks 16 on the first floor. You can come down and see her in her studio. You can connect with her online, and we'll add some info about her website in the chat box. And we have a great little video about a new project she's been working on. And we'll play that now.
Hello, and thanks so much for tuning in to our virtual First Friday this November. This is my art studio at Liberty Station, where I currently have my Element series on display. I generally prefer to paint large scale, but during the confinement, I found 8x8 inch wood panel just right for conveying my experience of the lockdown. These pieces are encaustic, made with beeswax, oil paint, and India ink. I also have several pieces from my fire series painted during the California fires that burned a record number of acres this year. But for most of the month of October, I have been focusing on designing Fish Out of Water 2020, a collaborative temporary art installation. This project is funded by a grant from NTC Foundation. To begin, I asked the Arts District Liberty Station artists and residents to send me a name, a drawing, a photo, or a painting of a fish or sea creature that they could relate to. In other words, if you could be a fish or a sea creature, which one would you be? The concept for this installation came from a dream. In my dream, I was standing by a river, forest all around, and I noticed this crowd of fish and sea creatures moving forward above the water, moving forward with intention, together, but clearly out of place. And when I woke up, it seemed the perfect illustration of us, 2020. Not comfortable, but moving forward with courage and intention, together. Fish out of water. This installation is located by the fountain in the North Promenade, just in front of my art studio, Barracks 16. Using a hydrophobic liquid, this art is visible only when wet. On rainy days, the artwork will surprise. On sunny days, a little water will reveal. How long will the artwork last? 2 to 3 months. This media is non-toxic and fades away gradually. The best way to see the art? Come on a rainy day or bring a little water with you to North Promenade, Liberty Station. I hope this art piece will resonate and bring some joy to visitors of Liberty Station. Thank you to NTC and all the participants of the Arts District for allowing me this opportunity. And thank you for tuning in to First Friday. Any questions or comments, please email me or check out my website at laurenlavue.com. Thank you and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Fish Out of Water is such a cool project. It just popped up about a week ago, and if you haven't seen it, I encourage everybody to come down and check it out. It's kind of magical. If you just sprinkle some water or something, you'll start to see some of these fish and sea life kind of pop right up out of the ground. So I'd like to also just mention briefly, we are checking our chat box, so please encourage everybody to use the main chat box, ask questions as the night goes along. We'll add some helpful links there, videos, updates about other things happening. And also, while we're here, and we'll have one mainstream of content happening and presenting artists all evening long, there's so much other amazing work happening. We have nearly 100 different tenants, artists and residents, galleries and museums producing work all the time. And so we also have some great things happening tonight that we didn't have time to fit all in this platform. So just even right now, you can still see things from one of our newest tenants, Hakai Aquascaping and Design Gallery. They're going live on Facebook and Instagram. Reading Legacies is doing some amazing programs with reading and education programs for kids and their families. There's a live Q&A and book giveaway happening. Nina Montajaro is one of our new emerging artists, and she's going to be posting live to her Instagram page. So I think just a lot of fun stuff's happening. You can go and see those. But I encourage everybody to stay here and just, you can bounce back and forth if you like, but and keep checking out some of our great programming. I want to do one more quick highlight for Art Walk, just because it's such an exciting event, and I can't wait to see that unfold this weekend. So we'll play a little highlight from Sandy, who leads Art Walk.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandy Cottrell. I'm the co-director of Art Walk at Liberty Station, which takes place this weekend at North Promenade and Legacy Plaza Loose Court. We've reimagined our annual art show with lots of space between artists, health and safety protocols approved by the county's public health officer, and we'll be showcasing over 100 artists showing their work. The fine art on display will include painting, glasswork, sculpture, photography, jewelry, and so much more. Artists are so thrilled to finally have a venue to show and sell their work. Physical distancing and enhanced sanitation protocols will be enforced. Face coverings are required for all who attend or exhibit. ArtReach, our nonprofit arts education partner, will exhibit the 31 guitars that have been transformed by artists and are available in an online auction that is live now and closes Sunday at 9 p.m. Here are a few examples behind me, and they are amazing. So you'll definitely want to see them in person. Come check them out at Art Walk Liberty Station. There is a ticket this year to help us defray the costs of the safety protocols, including a very large fence around the event. It's just $5 per person with 18 and under free, and you can learn more and order your tickets at artwalklibertystation.org. See you this week.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope to see everybody down there. I always look forward to finding some amazing new artwork and artists that I've not met from around the area. So I hope everybody comes to check out Art Walk Liberty Station. With that, I'm excited to welcome Lee to the stage. Lee is one of our artists who has the studio Milk Oolong Studio, and she creates some just absolutely beautiful ceramic work, and we're going to hear from Lee now. Hi, Lee. Just as a quick reminder, you might put the camera on your mic. Perfect. Happy First Friday. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. So I'm in my studio right now, and it looks like rain. It's beautiful here. And so today I'm going to show you some teacups done on the wheel. And my studio name, Milk Oolong Studio, is actually about my favorite tea. So I'll be making teacups, and Milk Oolong is my favorite tea. So up here, there's actually some finished pieces, kind of far from the camera. So, and feel free to use the chat so that you can ask any questions you have. So I'm going to be using porcelain today. So I'm just gonna make sure my wheels go in the right direction. I'll try to read the chat and see if I can answer any questions you have. So porcelain clay cracks a lot more than using a different clay, but it's so beautiful in the end. You get that bright white. So right now I'm coning up the clay and pushing it back down. This is to center the clay. I kind of wish you could zoom in on certain parts, but we're gonna have to keep this frame. So the point of centering is to get your clay to stop wobbling. So this is not wobbling, and this is wobbling. Let me know if you can hear me or if I should talk louder. And the print is a little bit small on the chat, so I'll try to read it. My eyes are pretty good. And you really don't need to see in order to work with clay. You can close your eyes and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to be doing throwing off the hump. So I'm lifting the clay up, finding the bottom. And I have classes for both adults and kids, and I do private lessons. So if you ever want to come in and try working with clay yourself. There's also open studio for people who already know what they're doing. Let's see if I can read some of these comments. Oh, good, that I sound good. So I'm throwing the teacup. You gotta be super careful with porcelain clay. Oh my gosh, it's like cream cheese. I'm so happy with this studio. I've got a whole wall of windows, so much air circulation. Behind me, you can see a little bit of the gallery section of my studio, which I'm going to be working a bit more on putting more of the work online in the next few days. It's so fun to work with clay, especially the super soft clay. It feels so good on your hands. So, it's super interesting just working, you know, talking to a computer. But I see you all in the, like, whoever's attending, I see that you're there. So when you're done with the teacup, I'm actually going to show you another step in the process too. What I'm going to do first is just going to cut this off. So I take the wire cutter and then I slide it under there and pull it back. Someone just texted my phone, but as you can see, I can't really touch it right now. Let's see. Yeah. Well, you don't really need to do much right now because you can talk it through, you can close your eyes. It is so meditative working on the pottery wheel. You don't think about anything except for the clay. Oh man, I wish you all could be here and you could feel the clay and see what it's like. Especially this clay is super soft. I also have a deep black clay that I love working with, but unfortunately I have a closed system sink that recycles the clay, and if I add black clay to my recycling sink, the water turns kind of dark colored. Let's see, so I'm going to bring the clay up, decide how much clay, I'm going to make a second one. Slowly opening the clay. I'm also going to show you how to trim today if I have time. Tomorrow, the studio will be open starting at 11 for open studio. And I'm going to actually be around most of the day tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of busy for me, but you're welcome to always stop by the studio. I'm here. I try to be here 5 days a week, but sometimes I'm here 7 days a week. But, so the porcelain it's a lot more difficult to throw. But the color for me is worth it. And glazes look so bright on the porcelain, and it's so soft when you're working with it. I like to go super thin too, and the porcelain allows you to do that. So, once I have that, I'm going to bring that one off. And then I have another one, another tiny teacup. And the wonderful thing about clay is that you can smush it. And you can reuse the clay forever. So, I do a lot of classes, but I also have a gallery section in my studio. And so some of it will be available during open studio hours tomorrow. I'm also going to be doing, I heard Leslie talk about Salute the Season, and I'm also going to be creating a mural for it. And some of the pieces, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using broken pottery to create a mosaic. And I will be starting that on Monday. I'll be working on it outside. So you don't even need to come into the studio. You can watch me work. Except it won't be on the pottery wheel. I'll be doing mosaics with the broken pottery. It'll be super fun. Let's see. Pottery does take a little bit of pressure on the clay. So sometimes when I'm working with younger kids, like ages 4 and up, 4 to 5-year-olds, and even a little bit higher, sometimes I center the clay for them. Because this part sometimes takes some strength and a lot of practice. Let's see. Okay. So, if you want to write in the chat, you're welcome to let me know if there's a time you want to come by the studio, or if you want to, there's something you've always really wanted to learn with ceramics. So right now in my studio, I have 5 pottery wheels, and then the kilns on the other side of the studio in front of me. And I have this wonderful wooden table that was made for me by the San Diego Craft Collective. It's a really nice, sturdy table, because when I throw clay down and I wedge it, kind of like kneading dough, I really need a sturdy table. So it was really wonderful that Stephanie from San Diego Craft Collective made that for me. So I'm really looking forward to having some rain tomorrow. It's amazing because in my studio, the sunsets are gorgeous and the sunrises, and it's so dramatic, the weather outside the windows and the view. Like, I might move into a larger space at some point, but the view here is gorgeous, so I don't know if I will. So I'm going to bring this up again. I might start doing some trimming, actually. Let's see. I can't really see what time it is. If I should do some trimming. That's okay. I'm sure Andrew or someone will kick me off. I'm done. But, okay, so I'm going to pull this off because I want to do a little bit of trimming. So I'm just going to clear my back. And it's a very small studio, and so there's big windows, so I don't have more than 4 people in here at once. And everybody wears masks, and I keep the doors open. So I'm going to be doing some trimming. Also, if you want to plan a time in the studio, you're welcome to plan a time where it's just you, nobody else. Let's see. Oh, Alan just wrote that he has some larger spaces, good views. Yeah. I might be interested in that, but right now I'm pretty happy here. So this is a porcelain mug from the other day. So I'm going to create circles on my back. I want to trim this piece and add a handle. So I made this yesterday, so now it's leather hard. I'm just going to place it on here, make sure it's centered. And then I'm going to flip the direction on my wheel. Let's see, take a little bit of clay. Let's see, okay. I can actually read the chat, which is pretty good. So if anybody wants to, has any questions or want to say anything, go for it. So I'm just adding some clay now to hold this on. It's amazing technology that we can do this. Okay. So I'm going to put this on. So that's holding that on. And then I'm going to turn the wheel on. And I can start trimming a little bit there. I'm going to use this tool. So this is a trimming tool. I don't know if you can see that in front of my black shirt maybe. So what trimming does is it removes excess clay and creates flat area. I wish everybody could see this a little bit closer, but I guess we'll have to wait for in-person First Fridays. It's like cream cheese. It's so soft. So if you're left-handed, if you're right-handed, you can definitely work on the pottery wheel. It does take time to master. I've been practicing the pottery wheel for about 10 years. But it's super fun when you're first learning too. It's so satisfying. And with everything going on right now, sometimes it's really good to be focused on something like this. Closing that up. So this is like a trimming piece. It kind of looks like white chocolate a little bit. So that's what I'm doing right now with the trimming tool. Let's see. Yeah, you can get some beautiful camera work on here. I think it would be a good idea soon to get someone to do a bit of video work for this. I do commissioned pieces. So recently I did a candlestick commission. And so the candlesticks were commissioned to be white with gold luster roses on them. So I put real gold on them, which is a third firing in the pottery kiln. And the commission was for a newborn baby girl. So she got candlesticks, which I wrote on them. I wrote all her mothers and her mother's mother and her mother's mother. And I wrote the entire lineage on a pair of candlesticks. It was a really cool commission. But if you have something in mind, like a certain glaze color or shape, we can definitely work on something together. So these porcelain mugs are actually going to have gold luster decals. So instead of painting the gold luster, I'm going to use a decal, which is almost like a sticker. So some people think pottery is pretty messy, but if you use just a little bit of water, it can be super clean. It just takes a little bit of practice to learn how to be a clean potter. So I actually am doing some birthday parties soon too. I have an outdoor birthday party for 10 people tomorrow evening on the pottery wheels. And in the gallery section, I've got a bunch of teacups and tiny pieces. And actually, I'm just going to pick up this piece for you. I want to show you something. This piece, I'm not completely happy with it, so I'm probably going to be putting it into my mural that I'm doing for Salute the Season. So this piece will probably get the hammer And then I'm going to add it to my mural, mosaic. So I'll just set that aside. Okay. Where's that tool? So it's been really nice to see people come through Liberty Station. It's been a little bit more busy on the weekends, but still there's been plenty of space to socially distance, which is really important because all of our health is super important. So it's really interesting for me to be here on a Friday. Friday is normally a day I don't come in, but it's super calm here today. So I'm also doing after-school kids classes. So it's a really great break after a kid has been at school all day. It's a 1-hour class on the pottery wheel, and there's only 4 kids allowed. So it's very small. Small class setting. Trying to read the chat. It's kind of small. I'm so glad that you're able to watch this. Patricia, like, trying to, thank you. It's so nice to hear, Patricia. Yeah, I'm super happy. I just got here in March, and I feel like my studio is organized and clean, and an organized, clean studio is my favorite way to be. I'm a really organized person sometimes. I definitely like things clean and neat. So I do also do some pottery classes outside, but I need a little bit of time to plan them so that I can reserve that space. So if you're not comfortable yet coming inside, we can definitely schedule something outside. Okay, is my 30 minutes up?
No, you know, I'm just so excited for the work you're doing. It's just such a fun process, and I don't know if we had chatted about it before, but I'd done some ceramics for a number of years and just always so moved about the process and the way the product turns out. I just wanted to ask a little bit about the process in terms of you know, how folks engage with it through your workshops and your seminars. And you know, I know that, you know, it doesn't just all complete and wrap up in one session, but could you tell us a little bit about, you know, how that unfolds and when somebody gets to walk home with their finished product?
Sure. So right now I have 5-week classes. So they're once a week. You get to throw your piece, trim your piece, and you get to glaze it. But sometimes people come in just once. And if you come in just once, you can throw your piece on the wheel, and then you can pick a glaze color, and you can pick it up in about 2 weeks. Because it has to go into the kiln twice. So the first time the piece, so this piece, if this was ready, it would need to be bone dry, and then it goes into the kiln and reaches a little bit, it reaches 1,888 degrees, and then that takes about 14 hours for full firing, and it needs to cool down. And then you glaze it. And then the glaze firing reaches temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it takes some time to get a finished piece.
Okay.
But it's all microwave safe, and you can use it, you know, in the dishwasher.
Cool. So I hate to lead you, but we are getting close to the holiday season. How does that work out if somebody'd like to make a project for a loved one or a family member, like in terms of timing and that?
Yeah, things are definitely getting a little bit crowded in the schedule for private lessons, but you can definitely go online to Milk Oolong Studio, and you can email me and figure out the time. for 1 or 2 hours. You can come in by yourself, you can come in with a friend, with your partner. Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for demoing the process and the art form.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, to be on here, I'm glad some people could watch this tonight.
Yeah, and I know that you do a lot of live sessions on your own channel, so I hope and encourage everybody to come back and check out Milk Oolong Studio on Instagram, especially, and just follow what you do, and your work is just so beautiful. And so, yeah, so thank you very much for joining Virtual First Friday, and we look forward to having you back at a future event. So have a great Friday. Thank you.
Bye.
That was so cool to see all that stuff come to life, and just to get your hands dirty and play in the studio. I did just want to quickly mention I mentioned earlier there are a couple cool live programs happening outside of this platform, so there's still time to see. There are projects related to our installations at the station. I know that you can check in and see Jeremy Nuttall later tonight, Michelle Montjoy. Who else? San Diego Craft Collective is doing some programming tonight. So again, we couldn't fit everything on this one channel. We hope to show more content on this one channel in the future, but feel free to bounce around, and you can see that all in our event link, which should be in the chat box. With that said, I'd like to just mention again, thank you so much for the generous support from Bank of Southern California. Without their support, we couldn't have brought this kind of program to you. And so I have just a real quick little buzz from them. So we'll bring that up real quick. Don't go away. Awesome. Thank you, Bank of Southern California. So up next, we have Patty from Canela Photography. She's another one of our resident artists and has a studio here in Arts District Liberty Station. She does just absolutely gorgeous work about photography for dance and ballet especially, and works in collaboration with artists and dancers. So welcome, Patty, to the stage.
As soon as I figure out how to work it. Okay, hi.
That's great. Happy Friday. Good to see you, Patty.
Happy Friday. Here's Bella from Ballet. Hi, everyone. It says my connection's unstable, so hopefully everything is good. Okay, so our theme for today is I voted. I know it's a bit late because we voted on Tuesday, but I still wanted to do a little something about it. And it's about these giant stickers. And we're just going to put them all over her tutu. And we're going to do a photo shoot with some gels. And hopefully it looks cool. So we'll find out. So for now, I'm just going to go put these on Bella. And maybe she can help me with some of them. Okay. All right, so let's see, where did this look good? There. I should take it off. Please. No, I'll just leave it on. Ta-da. Hopefully these stay on. Because, where should I put this one? Put that one there. Bella is a regular muse I have because she's always up for my crazy ideas. And this is a shirt she got me for my birthday. Let's see. Oh, you want? Maybe we should do a big one of these. This one here. Let's see. Hey. Yeah.
Hey, Patty.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, just as you're getting set up, could you tell us a little bit about kind of the style of photography or what actually helps bring your photography come to life, you know, type of camera and how the stuff happens?
Sure. So I guess I'm a Canon girl. I kind of got started with Canon. It was my first camera, so I just kind of stuck with it. I do work sometimes with other photographers, and I use their gear as well, so I do use Nikon at times. But let's see. I do all sorts of photography except for weddings. Just not my cup of tea. Also, I do family portraits, all sorts of stuff. But ballet photography is kind of where I like to express myself more artistically. And I kind of got that opportunity when my son started dancing with San Diego Ballet about maybe 5. Well, he started when he was 8. He started a long time before I started with ballet photography. And it didn't dawn on me to do both of them. I was so new to the world of ballet that I didn't know what I would be doing. But once I was around that world and I learned a little bit more about the technique and all the lingo and just worked up the courage to ask whether or not I could take pictures of people. Then I got started on it. That was about 5 years ago. And I've been doing sport photography for about 5 years before that, so about 10 years before that. Because I am a soccer player, my older son's a soccer player, my husband's a soccer player, so I was doing sports photography. So I was already used to doing the high-speed stuff. So I was able to kind of take those skills and translate them to ballet, and then I never looked back, much to the chagrin of my older son, who just got abandoned on the soccer field. No, I'm just kidding. I love him.
Do you like to shoot in kind of an organized setting, like, you know, like you're doing the studio, or do you end up doing special events, like documenting a live performance, or, you know?
Oh yeah. I've done that. I've actually had the privilege to travel with San Diego Ballet when they go on tour, and I've gotten some great photographs out there. That was really fun. Yeah, and so I've done that for them here, and I've done some performances in TJ before COVID. Yeah, but I guess for ballet, excuse me, we've done a lot of like on location stuff, because it's just, in the beginning it was a lot more fun for me to bring the dancers outside of the studio setting, kind of put them out on the streets or somewhere where you don't usually find a ballerina. Was what kind of called my attention a lot. And then I've kind of just done full circle, come back into the studio now. All right. Do we need more? Turn around. Let's see. I got one here. Let's do this. Okay, I think she's ready. So, I have my lights on. Let's turn on the camera. And then I'm gonna go that way, and you can't see me. So if you need to catch my attention, please just talk out loud. Back. All right, Bella. So I just gotta make sure that, just do that right there. All right. So this is what we're looking at. So that's pretty cool, huh? So it's gonna be hard for you guys to see anything, but that's what it looks like. You kind of get the idea of it. I have a red gel on that side, and then I have a blue gel on this side, and obviously you see that's a white background, so it's completely changing the color of the background, which is fun. I love gels. And then I have kind of sort of like a spotlight over here. You can't really see it on screen, and that's just kind of a neutral white, so that her face isn't all blue, purple, and red. And so just kind of keeping with the theme of the red, white, and blue, I voted. Bella is 19, so this is her second year. Oh, your first year. Yeah, it's her first year voting, so it's kind of exciting for her. We'd like to celebrate that. And of course, it's her first time voting for president, which is kind of like a big, I don't know, milestone. So she's excited about that. So we decided to do some big I voted stickers. All right. Nice. Ooh, those are great. That was great. Really good. Wardrobe malfunction. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, so give them a sneak peek of this. And hopefully you guys can see it with the connection and all. But there she is. Might not be, I mean, I can't see it clearly on mine, but if you follow me on Instagram, I will post those hopefully tomorrow. And then you'll get to see them clearly. Okay. Neato. Let me just move my giant box here because it's actually getting in the way of the photo. So if you excuse me for 1 second. All right, Bella. Very cool. I'm going to tweak the light a bit because I want to get more light on the tutu itself as well. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like. Okay, ready? Yeah. Okay, so I got a little more light on the tutu. So I moved the light a little bit so that I could get some light on the tutu here, so that it just highlights that as well. All right, let's see, bells. All right, we're gonna have to do that one more time because I'm gonna have you move a little bit closer to the light here and take a step back. Can you still see through that light inside? Okay. Just because your leg fell off the background, so we'll do it again. It's remaining stickers. Okay, so I had to have her move because in the previous picture, as you can see, the background fell off there. So then when we moved, you can see her now, she's completely in the frame. So it looks pretty neat, actually. I like that pose. All right. Very neat. Oh, here, let me help you. No! More malfunction. There, we got it. I think it sounds worse than it actually is. This is long hair problems, me and Bella. Okay. We'll just keep this over here. It's a bit of a bad boy. Okay. Yeah, what Bobby said, or are you? Sounds good to me. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. It started unraveling. It's pretty neat. So here's what that looks like. Sorry about the noise. Okay, Bella. I don't know if I could do. How do you feel about a little jump? Just like a positive. Wait, I know what I'm saying. That's fantastic. Oh, we use all kinds of stickers. Okay. How do you feel about that? Arms really gross. We'll keep the butt jumps to the end. Yes. We don't care what our cookie is gonna look like. Okay. So, one thing with working with dancers is their skill is so precise that, you know, I can miss a shot. So here's our jump, which is not too bad, but there's issues that we want to fix with it. So, but we're not gonna do it now because everything falls off. So we'll do some more poses and then we'll jump at the end.
Patty, I wanted to ask a quick question. That's absolutely amazing how those colors pop in your screen. Can you tell us how that's happening and why we're not seeing it in the shot, but we're seeing it in your camera?
Yeah, so it's very scientifically magical. So there's a little gel in front of the light. It's like a red, clear. Let's see if I can find one. So this one's yellow. So in front of the light, I have this little like gel. So then the light flashes through it, and it reflects on the white background. So then I just have to adjust my settings in camera so that it, it's kind of complicated where the light itself has to be very low powered.
Okay.
The actual white that's on her body is higher powered.
Oh, wow.
And my settings on my camera are set to the higher powered.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you gotta balance everything out because different colors do different things, and sometimes a different color won't wash out at a certain range, and so you kind of have to meter everything.
Okay.
So I came in a little bit earlier before Bella got here and did all that fun stuff so that she wouldn't be here while I'm flashing around with all my settings. But yeah, any other question? That's a pretty good one. I always have to like brush up on my formulas before I do a gel shoot.
I like that. It's scientific magic.
I know, like, how to explain it? Sorry. Okay, so let's see. What do we feel like doing? We did our back bend like to the side. Okay, yeah, let's do it like to the side. I like that. That's good. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Oh, that is amazing. That is an amazing picture. That probably is going to be my favorite. Okay. So, just because it magically lit up the entire tutu. I don't know. It looks cool to me. And I love her shadow. All right. Do you want to try that one again, or are you sure? Okay. Just for good measure. Make sure we got it. Wait, hold on. Okay. Sorry. It's because it decided that I'm not there. Okay, I'm here. Very cool. Okay, you're not gonna love that one because you did something with your face. Okay, here we go. And that was my fault. But your face looks beautiful in that one. Okay, good. Alright, good. Yeah, those look amazing. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, let's see, how much time do we have? 10 more minutes. So, oh wait, did I go a little bit early? How much time do I have? Maybe.
You're good. We've got some more time, so about 10 minutes, but we can also, whatever works for you.
Okay, I was just wanting to time the jumps at the end. So, we're good. Okay. Let's see. We have some more stickers too. Should I put this one back on? Oh, we could do, how do you feel about that one? The one where you put the leg in the back and it's like the choo-choo around you. The going on point. Oh, is that too much? Like, where I have to let go. Is it that one?
I had to time it. Like I can only hold it for a second.
Hey, Patty, I was kind of curious, when and how will we be able to see these photos? Are you going to share any of these so we can see like the before-after process?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I usually share my stuff on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't know if there's another option that would work for the arts district. But yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, I will post those tomorrow at the latest.
Cool. So they'll be on at Canela Photography on Instagram.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and maybe even possibly on Ballet Crazy.
Ballet Crazy?
Yeah, Ballet. So
Ballet Crazy with an IE instead of a Y.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, look. I have a sticker on my shoe. Where did this come from? Okay. Oh, I think it's the. So it's kind of like. Because that was me demonstrating a move for her. It's a good thing you can't see it.
But on point.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get my focus before you go. All right.
Where should I put my arms?
Good question. So it's one of the ones I did for Stephanie. Remember the one she did on the hallway? I think. Oops, sorry. She was like this. I remember her being in the pose. Like that. Yeah, but it's kind of like doing a little, so pointing this way. It's kind of like trying to get the, so we can see the choo-choo. I'm trying to get another pose where we can see like the choo-choo. So it's a little bit angled. Okay, these are done. I'm gonna do this. Okay. So you could do a different pose if you have something that might work. Fix that sticky Okay, one more time. A ponche? Yeah. So I'm wondering, yeah, it's that one, but can we do it like where it's open? So it's more angled. This angle is. Yeah. And so then your legs like sticking out from behind, sort of. Oh. We got it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that is definitely the pose. But we can move the legs. So if you did it here, does this feel scary here? You like it here? That's like the legs right there. Oh, you know what? Let's do a different look, actually. Why don't we just put the little white ones around you as a belt so that we can take off all the rest. Kind of like these here. There. Okay, enough of the sticker issue. Oh, that's on your skin. Okay, OCD kicking in. That would be perfect. So you can see the inside there. See how it's like a grid? As long as you can see the inside there, then you are facing in the right direction. So if you need to get closer to it, that's okay. Aha, okay. So that's kind of the look I was going for. Let me show you. Does it actually? The bells doesn't quite pop though. So maybe we could put a sticker here, an I voted sticker, a small one. All right, so here's our, all right, so this is the post you did initially, but I wanted to see more of the tutu. So then we kind of lost the light because it's very directional, the one spotlight that I did. And so there she's back onto the spotlight. So it's very important that you are in the right place, kind of like stage lighting where you gotta hit your mark a little bit, but I can't see the stickers. They don't really pop there. So I think we'll probably just add when it'll be on your skin. Ta-da! Wait. It's a picture. Should it go on this side or on this side? So easy. Okay, let's try that and see how that looks. And then we'll get rid of, yeah, we'll just move on from this pose if it's just not working for us. Okay. Ready? Ooh. Yeah, I think with the sticker there, definitely. And this goes with the thing. That one's better, I think. So we're gonna go with that one. And then we'll do a different pose. Let's see. I think we can do a jump now. Yes. Yeah, we're down to the last 3 minutes, so we'll do jumps. Back at it. And then oh, or should I just try it? Okay, let's try it. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's amazing. Yay. All right, so there's the back attitude, the little leg right there. Okay. How brave do you feel about doing a firebird? You sure? We'll try it. Okay. Just remember the spotlight. Yeah. Just remember the spotlight. Even though if you're like a silhouette, it might still look cool. All right. That one's really hard. Actually, because it's cement here, so. Yeah.
Hey, Patty, with our last minute or two, I was just curious if you could tell us if you do any more live shoots on your social media or where we can and how and when we can find you and see the work you're doing.
Yeah, right now I'm just doing these First Friday live shoots. I haven't really done much of them on Instagram. I have been thinking about it. I think maybe in the new year, I will start doing more live Instagrams. Fall season is very busy for me, so kind of lose my head this time of year. But yeah, it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and it's kind of cool that being part of the Arts District, that it's that it's required. So it's kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone a bit. For going live, I don't really do videos because once I hear my voice, then I die inside.
Yeah, you do amazing.
So as long as I don't see it before I post it, then I'm good.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much for participating in the virtual First Friday. It was amazing to watch you work and see it just transform with the magic science right in front of our eyes. The colors just pop on screen. So thank you very much. And yeah, I hope that everybody comes back to check out your work on Canela Photography on Instagram. And I look forward to seeing more of your work pop up online and with the local dance companies.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Have a great Friday night evening, guys.
Yeah, so we are doing what's going on next presenting one Gaffey Art presenting and it's a story of that time. Even comes up with the standard play. You know, the feeling online. Is the sun shining for that? And it's is that okay? Any better? Anybody? No? One way, I'm not sure if it's more audio. It's not,
Any better? Can people hear me now? A thumbs up. Sounds like we did all right. Oh, perfect. Technology. Thank you for bearing with us through some of these kinks here. So we'll present Gaffey Art in just a moment, but I did just want to also mention, again, there's so many cool things happening tonight. There's still time to check out what's happening with Jeremy Nuttall and his installations at the Station Project. He's doing a painting project highlighting his Rolling It Forward outdoor art installation, which you can see on top of one of our buildings. It's a great spot to check out, especially right now when we have these amazing red sunsets happening in San Diego. You can also see a little bit of what's happening with San Diego Craft Collective, which I think you saw one of those projects, one of the tables at Milk Oolong Studio. And then also I want to really thank our sponsor, Bank of Southern California. I just want to plug them one more time because, again, without them, this would not be possible. So I have a quick little buzz for them that I'll play.
At Bank of Southern California, we really believe that everyone should be an expert at what they're doing, and their expertise needs to be business banking. Businesses can have complicated needs when it comes to how money comes in and out of their businesses, and we think we understand that better than anyone else in Southern California.
Thank you, Bank of Southern California. And with that, we have one of our newest artists, Gaffey Art. She does multimedia. She uses acrylic, oil, pastel, cold wax, collage. And she's been inspired by artists like Nikki de St. Phal, who's one of just a huge monolith in San Diego, and so many other local artists she's collaborated with or been inspired by. And so we have a great segment here from Gaffey, and I'll get that playing now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gaffey, and Gaffey Art is at Liberty Station. And I'm in Barracks 19 in Studio 204 on the second floor. So today is First Friday, so I'm going to be demonstrating quickly how I make these cute little heart paintings. This is on cradle wood panel board, or called cradle board, and they make great gifts. They're quick to do, and I've gotten it down to about a half an hour. So we're going to go through it real quick. And then the sides are, I put any extra paint that's on my brush on the side, and we'll go through that as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is one of the panel boards. So I'm going to just put some gesso on the board. And the reason this is already in process, oops, let me move this down. The reason this is already in process is because I forgot to hit the record button the first time. So gonna paint gesso all around the board. This is a wood panel board by Blick. You can get that online or at a store if you have a store nearby. And then I'm using Liquitex gesso. They sell that at Michael's. So I have a few other things here that we'll talk about while I'm doing this. I have Mod Podge, which is going to be what I glued my collage onto this board with. It also is a varnish. So if you don't have varnish, you can use that when all the paint is dry to varnish your little heart. I also use pastels, oil pastels. And I'll show you my palette. You can see now I've got all these different colors here: dark blue, pink, orange, red, a different orange, yellow, kind of periwinkle, bright yellow, turquoise, green, black and white. So those are the colors that I generally use. Maybe all of them, maybe not. Just depends on, I might make a pink heart, I might make a red heart. I've done a couple of red hearts today, so when I'm demonstrating this to you, I'll probably just do a pink heart. So that's how you gesso. One coat is sufficient. You have to gesso these boards because they are inexpensive. I mean, these are the premium ones, but they still can crack and split and peel up. So you want to put either a household primer or a gesso on this. Again, this is a 6 by 6 by 1.5 inch panel board. So I'm going to let that one dry, and then I'm going to put this gesso brush in my water so it doesn't get too stiff, and set that aside. Then I have my Mod Podge. So you can see it says water-based sealer, glue, and finish. So this one happens to be matte finish. It also comes in satin or gloss. And it dries pretty quickly. So I'm just going to use a brush like this. This is a 1-inch flat brush. And I already have my collage paper already kind of torn up. These are napkins, wrapping paper. You know, if you go into a nice store that's got different kinds of papers by the sheet, that's where I get some of these. That's this kind and this kind. Tissue paper, like for a gift bag. That's what the circle little dots are, and that's what this is as well. So whenever I'm someplace, you know, a paper store that has that, or even a nice store that's got napkins and matching plates, they usually have some pretty cool napkins. So since this is so small, I'm just going to go ahead and put Mod Podge all over it right from the beginning. If it goes down the sides, that's okay. You can wipe it with your finger. Like I said, it's water-based, so it will just clean up with soap and water. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now I'm going to take a piece of my paper and put it down. And I'm going to put a little bit of this Mod Podge on top of it too. So you want a layer underneath, and we just put that on here, and then a layer on top. Now I want this a little closer to the edge, so I put it down and then picked it up again. So it's not real tacky, so you can move it around for a little while. You could probably pick that up right now and it'd be fine. So this is a napkin. I don't know where I got it. People are always giving me napkins too because they know I'd use them and do this stuff too. This was from a pizza box. This is just a check, but I like to put them on so that it looks like the check is diagonal, like that, instead of squares. I like these little stripes. I have a lot of stripes in my work. Here's a piece of paper that I got from one of those stores that has specialty papers. I think they're called Paper Source, something like that. This is a Marimekko napkin that I love. And I sometimes just go right, you know, I don't worry about, did I go over the edge of the other one? Don't worry about that. And I'm going to put a little bit more of this. I really like the black and white polka dots, so I'm going to put a little more of that on. Try to keep it light. What else? Oh, this was a napkin, but I ran out of it. So before I ran out, I put it on the copier and made copies on computer paper. So that's all I'm going to do with this one. So you saw how fast that went. I just covered the entire board with the Mod Podge. Then I put down the pieces of collage, and then as I was putting it down, I put a little more Mod Podge on there. The other thing I do, because some of these are different materials, and some are thicker than others, is I'll go through. These are blue shop towels that I use, by the way. I'll go through the board with this. This is just a card from a hotel. And just gently push this down. Just trying to make sure you don't have any air bubbles in here. Sometimes I just use my finger. It's gotten a little tacky, so I'm not going to use my finger. I'm going to use this. Now then I'm going to put this in the water because I don't want that to harden in there. And then I'll set this one aside because I have another one that I've gotten ready because we're kind of on limited time. And I want to show you how quickly these are. Also, by the way, let's say I just was going to continue to paint on this one that I just demonstrated for you. I could blow dry this to speed up the drying process. I do that all the time. And these are acrylic paints, so they're water-based. You can clean them up. Anything, your brushes, soap and water. You just got to make sure you put them in the water right away. So the other things I have are scissors and some twine. That's this. And I have a little ornament that I'm going to put on here, which is a key. I sign these on the back with a paint pen. There's a lot going on here, so I think to put that on sign it on the front is a little bit, it's just too much. So this is how I start. I just take my brush, and I've already made a little heart shape on here, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's a heart shape in black. So that's what I do. I start with a little bit of black on my brush, and I make the heart shape. You don't have to do it like that. That's just how I do it. So now I'm going to go ahead and mix, since I did 2 red hearts, I'm going to go ahead and mix some of this pink with a little white. Maybe a little bit of water. So this was the outline of that heart that I put on here. So it was pink and white. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit of that straight pink. That black outline is just to help you realize where you're going to go with your painting. So I think I'll blow dry this just so you can see. Okay, so now this is dry. I might come in with a different brush this time. Might mix a little bit of pink with the orange, just for a little variation, and make it the opacity so it's not so sheer. But I don't want to use white because white, I mean, you could if you like that, but it can be a little bit chalky. I might use it later on this pink one, but not yet. Some of the other things that I have here are I already told you, the oil pastels, pair of scissors, and a few brushes and water. So you need to put these in water to dry. Okay, so now I'll put a little pink with water, with white on there. And I'm doing this while it's wet. You can take your finger and kind of smoosh it around like that. You can take the end of your brush and, well, there's not enough layers of paint on there. Usually I scrape. I do a lot of scraping in my painting, my big paintings, all my paintings. But it works best if there's a lot of layers that are already dry underneath. So that's how I get the heart in there. And then as it dries, I can put some other colors in there. I can spice it up with some pink, but I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to go back to my red heart. Now, when I was just putting that gesso on, this heart got a little bit of flecks of white. So I'm going to come over here with this. I still had a little pink on my brush, and that's okay. And I go into the red. Notice this doesn't really have a pointy bottom. I want it pointy. Okay. So here's my red one. Now I noticed, I want you to notice that I put the red on the sides like that. I forgot to do that with, the reason I do that is I get rid of it, all the paint, and then you can see it through the black and white. And I think that's interesting. You don't have to do it, but I like to do that. So I already have red on there. Now what I'm going to do is put a little bit of, I like to have a glow around the heart. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of yellow around that. Yellow with some of this yellow orange. And then I'm just going to, on the side of my brush, just start scrubbing it in. See, I scrub. At this point, I'm scrubbing it. What I mean by that is the brush is on its side and I'm actually scrubbing it on. You can hear it. All right. A lot of times I write words, like this is a great place to write love or smile or happy. And then a lot of times I put a crown on here. Like this one I didn't write any words, but I put a crown up there. So from here, I just start deciding what colors I want to use. And start putting in the colors all the way around. So you'll do that now. We'll start with the orange because we had that on the brush. And just kind of, I call it a hit and a miss. And I'm gonna actually put a little extra on here because for the sides. All right. Then I'm gonna go to maybe this blue. Now the oil pastels coordinate with the color of paint that I'm using. Okay, so they don't have to, that's just how I do it. This was a napkin that said raise your glass, but the glass got covered. The glass part got covered. Then I have some green. Wash the brush. Now I'll put some of this periwinkle color. Now I like this, so I probably will put more on of this color. And it's an opposite to the yellow. So where the yellow is, guess what goes? Usually when I'm painting. And then I'm going to put the leftovers, what's in my brush, on the side. What else do I want to put on here? Maybe this is straight orange. This is pretty. Now, again, it doesn't have to be in every place and all over or anything like that. And I do try to put opposites next to each other. So this is green with red, blue with orange. Kind of that blue is periwinkle up there. And then I'll put this on the side again. Then I do want to bring out some of the black that got covered up. Black in the stripes up here, maybe there, maybe the circles. So I will take a little bit of this black on my palette and just go over that with a little brush. You don't have to make it perfect. I'm not going to go on that because I could see that that orange is wet, and I just put that down. And you don't have to do every single check. So these I put on a little while ago, so I can go over that. That was pretty wet, but that's okay. Now this was a circle. I have this really cool paper. I think that was this. This got these little circles on it, kind of like amoebas. Amoebas. Okay. I have this and this. Where else? I have this little circle here. Okay. Do that. Now, sometimes I take a pencil, and this is a Stabilo pencil. And what I do with this is, if I want to write like love, I will take a pencil like this and just write love. Let's see, where do I want it? Oh, this one doesn't want to work on there. Hold on. Okay. I'm back. All right, L, O, B, C. There. So I can write on here, you could put smile, you can say, you make me happy, whatever you want, it's yours. And then I'm gonna put a little crown up here, just a small one. Sometimes I just leave it. There's so much going on these little hearts sometimes that I might just leave it with nothing inside. Not cute. Okay, so now I'm going to take my finger, and some of you might not like this, but I'm going to just put, you might not like using your finger, but sometimes it works better on these little hearts just to have a little bit of a glow in the center, like that. And so that's why I do that. Now, the sides. So again, I have this one finished. This one, I'm going to go ahead and start the edge. So I have, this is a 1/2 inch brush, flat brush. And I had recently washed it, so it's damp, but it's not soaking wet. And I like to wipe off excess paint on the paper towel. I'll put this way so you can watch me do it. So I just start like this. Dress the brush, more paint. And after I go all the way around this little heart with this in black, then I'll come back and go over in between with white. Okay, and that's how it's done. Easy, 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 and fun, and great for girls' night out, great for kids' party, great gifts for holidays, stocking stuffers, hostess gift, housewarming gift. What else? Valentine's Day. This paint on my brush is kind of funny. So anyway, you go all the way around like this. I'm not going to do it for the sake of time, but this is what you get, black and white. And you can see it's very staticky. If you don't like it like that, then you make it solid, okay? But I like it like this. So that's why mine is like that. So when you're done, well, first of all, let me go back to this. I'm not going to continue to go around the sides because that's just, you get it. You do black, then you do white, or you can start with white. Now, this is what I do with the oil pastels. You could easily do this with a brush if you don't have oil pastels. They're not in it. They're not inexpensive. So unless you've got them, don't go buy them for this purpose. Maybe I'll put a little bit of yellow in there where that little crown was. Okay. Let's see, a little bit of red. Red is always so spicy, juicy. Okay. So what I've done with this one, I'm ready to put the Mod Podge on it, but it's not dry. So, and I haven't finished it. So I want you to, when you get to that point, you take the Mod Podge, and just like we put it on the first time, you go ahead and put this on this for the final coat. I think if I blow dry this, I might be able to do it. Let's see. That's not being able to show you. Finish it. You could use a spread.
Hey everybody, this is really good and project and I just want to make sure we know
Go back to the screen real quick. Yeah, can I swipe? There we go. Can anybody hear me? Better. Perfect. All right. Sorry for the hold up. I wanted to also mention, so Anne does really great projects. You can jump on her website and schedule some time to do a demo with her live recorded on Zoom. You can join her mailing list, and she will send you a list of supplies to do these projects at home. You can buy them. So she's got a really versatile, great program for you to be able to do these projects with her guidance. Get ready for the holiday season and make some fun projects DIY for your family and friends. And with that, I wanted to jump to our Malashock Dance event. We have Molly and John from Malashock Dance. And I'm excited to be able to welcome to the stage and see some amazing performances. Molly, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, Molly, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
John, do we have you here?
We have me here.
Wonderful. Great to see you guys again. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I'll let you guys take it from here and just let me know when I can help play some videos for you, or if I can help with any of the answering questions in the chat.
Excellent.
Great. Thanks, Andrew.
Take it away, Molly.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Molly Purrier. I'm the Executive Director for Malashock Dance. And before we jump into the program, I just want to shout out big thank you to NTC and Arts District Liberty Station for allowing us to continue our artistic programs virtually since we can't see you in person. Quick housekeeping note, we really intend for this event to be participatory, interactive, and for it really to be a community conversation about what we're seeing in the clips. So if you look at the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a little chat icon. I encourage you to click on that now. And as you type questions into the live chat, I'll be monitoring that in between clips. And at the end, we'll address those questions and comments.
Cool. I guess I'm taking it from here. As Molly said, I'm John Malashock. I want to welcome all of you here to join us for the third of our Streamline series of live stream events. I want to echo the shout out to thank Arts District, Liberty Station, NTC Foundation for supporting this series. We have two more after tonight, and I'll say a little bit more about those later. We have events on November 20th and December 4th. I also want to give a little shout out to UCSD TV and in particular John Manier, who are using clips that he has produced and directed tonight. And our topic tonight is artistic collaboration. The word collaboration gets thrown around a lot, and I think a lot of people don't really know the ins and outs of it. I've kind of gotten to be known for that, and Malashock Dance has entered into many collaborations over the years, and we wanted to give you a little sample tonight of some of the different types of works that we've done, and with collaborating with different art forms, blending dance with them. It's a tricky subject. You take two artists with very, very strong opinions and vision about their work, and they're either going to be a magnetic pull to each other or sometimes a friction. When collaborations work, it's just glorious how the art forms support each other. So let's jump right in here. The first clip we're going to show you is from a work called Fathom. And it's a work that I collaborated with a visual artist in this case, as well as a composer who wrote the music for it. But the initial collaboration was with Junko Chodos, who's a remarkable visual artist, and our theme was about an ancient Japanese Buddhist monk and his relationship with nature, which is what this duet coming up is about. It represents aspects of nature. So let's go ahead and play the first clip. All right, we are back, And as Molly said, we'd love to hear from you guys. Be happy to field questions, happy to hear your comments about the works you see. So don't be shy on the in the chat panel over there. We'll also take some time at the end to respond as well.
Well, I do see a question about what inspired the dance, and I'm also curious just how you connected with Junko Chodos, the visual artist. How did that initial interaction begin?
That's a great question. What I've found over the years, that many of the best collaborations that I've entered into with projects were the result of good matchmaking. And it wasn't that Junko and I found each other independently. It was a situation of somebody saying, you ought to know about Junko Chodos, and someone saying to Junko Chodos, you ought to know about John Malashock. And we met and we got familiar with each other's work, and it just started us down an incredible path. You can see the work in that clip was really just amazingly inspiring, and there were 6 different scenes that she created on this grand scale.
Beautiful, beautiful work. So memorable.
Yeah.
That was a nice comment that the quiet clapping reminded him of rustling leaves.
Yeah, it's something I encourage with my dancers to I mean, the dancing makes noise, but to really use their breath and something like that where it's actually using the body percussively, it adds another element to it.
Great. Set us up. What are we going to watch next?
Let's move on. So the next topic of collaboration is really music and drama. And there was an artist, Christian Oberoi, who's a composer and lyricist. And we'd gotten familiar with each other's work. And really, we both have a strong storytelling sense. And Christian, who at the time had founded and was directing Sacra Profana, a wonderful choral group here in San Diego, he proposed that we take a play. In this case, it was Tennessee Williams' play, Orpheus Descending, and follow that storyline. And as he wrote music for his musicians to both sing and play, and as I created the story, we really were trying to tell a very challenging story about closed-mindedness and repression in the South. This particular clip, which we call Gossip, is really an example of how seemingly harmless conversation can really be very, very damaging toward keeping a kind of prejudice in place. And so I think that says enough. So let's go ahead and look at this. Is from a work called Snakeskin.
Story they tell around here about things that happened in former years. When her father's orchard was built on the shore, he had bought it and seeded it after the war. And I heard that he was an immigrant too, just an outsider with no one that he knew. But he loved that land like it was his own, and his vineyard flourished, he called it his home. So he built a wine garden with his hands, with tables and benches and soft-colored loves. And on summer nights all the couples would come, and his daughter would sing with him when she was young. So the clan came in and they burned it down. They torched that wine garden to the ground. When he cried out for help, not a finger was raised, not a single bystander came to his aid. So her father ran to the orchard alone, with a blanket to put out the fire on his own. But the flames were fierce and the wind was high, and the old man perished alone in the night. This was so long ago, it seems, back when she was only a girl of 18. But the old timers tell this tale just in case, to make sure all immigrants know their place. Now that man she lives with, he bought her cheap when her father died, when she was weak, when her heart was broken. That man swooped in, and these 20 years now she's lived with him.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was one of those performances where the musicians were actually, and singers were on stage with the dancers, and it was such a different experience to have all of that being live and not recorded. John, is that a preference of yours, or does it create a layer of complication, or?
I'm looking at the comment here, feeling like it was a background, but not integrated into the performance. But I will just say, video doesn't do justice when you're in a live space with 8 musicians, both playing and singing and directing their focus to what's going on stage, and us utilizing the stairs and the area up there at times. We definitely didn't treat it passively. It was very.
I think Patricia was talking about the difference between set design and Junko's work being interactive or not. That question was about the Fathom duet.
I see. Okay. I'll back up on that. I'll address that a little bit later. No, I guess I'll go ahead and say it now. Her work in that duet created a scene that did become the background for the work. But the movement of those artwork panels throughout the evening had a real presence of its own. It created places for, it carved up the space in different ways, created places for entrances and exits. It definitely did not seem like just a backdrop to the work when you'd see the overall performance.
Great. Are you ready to set up the third clip?
I would be happy to. So the next form of collaboration really has to do with writing. There's a work that I did a number of years ago called Together in the Fires of Delight. And it's really about all sorts of different relationships. And there were actors in the work as well as dancers. And this one particular scene was written actually by my wife, Nina Malashock. And no, she did not write about our relationship, but she wrote about another very special relationship, which I think will unfold for you as you see this. The section is called Beast of Desire.
I nuzzled up against her warm body, felt her breath on my neck, and wondered when I'd ever been this content before. Was it the way she loved me, her desire to please me, the fact that she always needed to be by my side and would seek me out, searching from room to room till she found me, so pleased with her discovery, like the first time she quivered in my arms. How loved I felt, how wanted. Each time I sent her away, she would creep back behind me and wait for that moment when I was too self-absorbed to notice that she was quietly sniffing the back of my neck, so hungry for my love. She loved the way I looked, my smell, the fact that I spoke to her in French. She craved my fingers rubbing her stomach. I knew how to scratch behind her ears so she would sigh a long, contented sigh. There was nothing she loved more, except her liver trees. How she loved me, and how she hated to hear me cry. Only she knew how to pull me back and make me laugh. We'd cuddle, then kiss, me stumbling into her eyes. She knew she had me, my furry beast of desire.
I lost the best friend I ever had. Last night, I lost the best friend that I ever had.
Nice. Well, we have a couple. That's just one of my favorites when the moment happens when you realize what the relationship is.
Well, you're a dog person, so you get this.
So, just a couple very quick questions. One was from Paul Hankart. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
He was wondering why dance with live music is difficult for the dancers. He's an excellent dancer.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, it's a big topic which we'll talk more about offline sometime. But live music is just one of the most glorious things to accompany dance. It makes for performance that's really alive and not the same from one night to another. It's challenging because it is different. Tempos are never going to be exactly the same, and it forces the dancers to really use their ears and feel the music in a way rather than taking it for granted as they do with a recording. So I think we ought to move right along since we're running out of time. We have one more clip that's a collaboration with a digital projection artist, and in this case it's a woman named Tara Knight, and we work with San Diego Museum of Art in conjunction with their exhibit of Japanese woodblock prints. This is a work called The Floating World, and this scene is about a dance company, and in this particular case they're out on the town just blowing off steam. Well, let's go ahead and go to The Floating World.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Molly answered the questions. That the Floating World was at San Diego Museum of Art, in that auditorium. We really created our own theater space there with projection walls on all four sides. I want to answer one quick question that Travis asked earlier about how collaboration affects me as an artist. I love collaboration because it takes me into new territory. It forces me to learn new things and figure out how dance really can blend with other art forms.
We are just about out of time, I think.
Yeah.
And I know there's some more great programming that NTC is going to show you, so you don't have to go anywhere. Audience, stay right where you are. And I just want to thank everyone for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our next two events, November 20th and December 4th.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you could come and participate in this.
Thank you so much, Molly, John.
Thanks, Andrew.
Presentation. We look forward to having you.
All right. Good night, everybody. Don't be strangers.
That was so cool to watch, and it was amazing just to see with all those clips, all the work that they're being able to produce in such a compact way. Well, we're just about to get to our final program on this platform for the evening. I did just want to take a moment and thank absolutely everybody for being here tonight and for tuning in and spending their Friday night with us at the Arts District. I did also just want to give a quick shout out. Next month, we're going to be broadcasting live from Solari Ristorante. And we'll do a great little demo with some drinks and food that are traditional to Italian culture and that kind of stuff. So hopefully everybody will come back and tune in and see us in December. And with that said, I'm happy to bring Hugo to the stage and hear a little bit about one of his recent works he did here with the installations at the Station Project. And welcome, let's see. So we can get Hugo. Good evening.
Hello. Thank you. Hello, Andrew.
It's so great to see you. Thank you for making some time for us. We're really excited to hear about your installation at the Station Project and to see the video you produced. So I'll let you take it away from here and just let me know whenever I can play that file for you or how I can help.
Sure. Well, I'll just keep it simple. Sometimes the artists are the worst people to explain their work. I think my eloquence is in the work, in the drawing, and I'm just not eloquent with my words, but I hope my drawings is where all my eloquence is. But yes, I'm going to explain very briefly the project that I did for the Liberty Station. It's a mural performance project that is entitled Column A and Column B. And basically, it's presenting muralism as performance. I was invited to go into the space, and in 2 weeks, they lent me the columns, and I was supposed to create a mural, improvise a mural. So I just went to this space, and I had nothing planned. I didn't have anything, any preparatory sketches or anything. And basically, I just went into the space and just started drawing. And so in a way, this mural performance is precisely that, a performance that celebrates draftsmanship. It's a simple performance where it's just one man, one cup of paint, one brush, a ladder, and the story that starts improvising on the walls. So then I just started, and it was this, in a way, it's presenting muralism also as this humanistic way of making art, something that's the measure of a man, something that's the measure of me, my skill, the length of my arm, what I'm able to accomplish in 2 weeks. So then, and the process that's being presented through this mural performance is pretty much the process of all my work. I'm a draftsman from Tijuana. I practice in Tijuana and in San Diego. And one of my practices is my sketchbook. I just go to a place and just improvise narrative, and just, sometimes I would sit down in the streets of Revolucion in Tijuana and just start drawing the people. And then out of that came these opportunities for great conversation. Sometimes you're drawing, and I was, sketching with my pen and with my sketchbook, and I was looking at people, and people would look at me and they would think I was doing something very suspicious, like I'm taking notes or something. So they would approach me, and a conversation would start. I would show them my sketchbook, and they would see that it's art, and they would see that it's drawing, and so then they would be fascinated by the process of, how are you doing this? How, and then I would tell them who I am and what I do, and then they would tell me their story. And as part of that, this practice started happening of me just going there, drawing, hearing stories, and then those stories started feeding the subject matter in my sketchbooks and in my drawing. So then at some point when I started doing these mural projects, I thought that it was the same scenario of me going to a public space, nothing planned, and just start painting. And people would see the process of drawing, and a conversation would start. And through that conversation, the narrative of the mural would start appearing on the walls. So then that's what happened at Liberty Station, and that's the mural that I did. And it took me 2 weeks to do. And then at some point, part of, like any performance, I have to erase it. The column A and column B project is part of this ongoing project that I've been working on called the In Memoriam Murals, that started in Chicago, and I've done it in New York, and I've done it recently. I did it at the Museum of Social Justice in Los Angeles as part of LA. And basically, part of the performance is that I do go to a public space, I create the murals, I create the narrative, and then the moment I stop the drawing, I start erasing it. And I start erasing it by painting white squares, or just basically erasing the drawing. And that whole process would take about a week. So then it's a performance of 3 weeks, 2 weeks of creation, and then 1 week of destruction. But in this case, for Liberty Station, they asked me if I could hold on the destruction of the mural, which I'm very happy to do, because nobody likes, I don't like to see my work being destroyed. But it has this element of the memento mori, something that's precious because it has a limited time. Usually when you think about muralism, you think of Diego Rivera, or you think of Michelangelo murals that are in institutions that will be there forever. But in this case, it's me creating this narrative, this mural that has a very limited time. And like a performance, like a musical performance where you hear a musician, the moment he stops playing his instrument, then a silence comes in. The performance ends. And it's just now in our memories. And here, what I would like to accomplish with this mural project is also, at some point, I'm going to return to Liberty Station and erase it. And it will just be in the memory of people who were there. So it's this very human approach, I think, of creating art. Something that's a bit of in contrast with art that's manufactured, or a lot of the art that we see today. Where here in this instant, it's just this guy creating a narrative, sharing it with people, hearing their stories, and those stories appearing on the wall. And then at some point, I'm going to go and erase it and destroy it. Or erase it and ending the performance. Yes, and the themes that appeared in the narrative of the mural were very interesting. Like, I had never really visited Liberty Station. But when I was there and I started thinking of what I'm going to do, what I saw were Liberty Station as a place of community. A lot of families were there, and I was very happy to see that. It's a place of congregation and families coming together and enjoying the place. So then families came to mind, and of course, me being a Tijuana artist, dealing with the border, dealing with the situation of the border every day when I cross into the United States. When I started doing these murals, there was that moment in time where there were the separations of children from their families in migrant at the border. So then I decided that I wanted to represent that situation that's happening right now, the separation of children from their families at the border. And as I was working with this, that also started this conversation of people, what is this about? And then this issue started coming out, the situation of families that are being separated, how political rhetoric can have real consequences on families. So as part of the mural, I was improvising this narrative that dealt with families, their separation, their unification, the hope for unification. And then also these, there were these black paint on the brown walls, the columns of Liberty Station. And then I did this overlay of white paint that would represent these birds that would be part of the whole composition, birds and Mesoamerican hearts. And the birds represented this journeying for freedom, journeying for the idea of no borders, for the free transit of people going where they need to go, for the pursuit of happiness, which is one of the canons of American of the American way of life. And the heart, the Mesoamerican heart, which represented to me a life and a prayer for the safety of children and families. So then, in broad strokes, those are the themes that were that are in the mural at Liberty Station. So I welcome everybody to come to see the mural, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer here virtually or in other ways.
Would you like me to bring up your video and play that?
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Yes, and as part of this, I decided that right now, part of my work that I've been working on right now is these stop motion drawing animations that I've been working on for the last 2 years. And I decided to prepare one that's entitled Sopantli for the Liberty Station mural as part of continuing the conversation. It's an animation that draws on the motifs that are already there in terms of the image that's there in the mural, and it represents the children, it represents their welfare, and it has elements of Mexican mythology, of Aztec mythology, the Sopantli, which is this idea of sacrifice for the betterment of everyone, no? And so then it has this element of a Sopantli that's being erased but being replaced by children, children representing the new generation that's going to come. And then at the end, there's this element of a heart also going back to the motif of the mural of a prayer for the safety and the benefit of families. So yes, please, if you can play it, that'd be wonderful.
Wonderful. That was so moving.
Well, thank you very much. And the sound is taken from the cathedral in Tijuana. I just I part of my practice, like I was mentioning before, me drawing in the streets and drawing people, I decided to record also the sounds of Tijuana, and which I feel would feed into the drawing that I was working on at the time. And part of my practice was just to record the streets. And at some point, I just wandered in close to the cathedral, and I could hear the rosary being sung, and I felt it was just this beautiful, eerie sound, beautiful voice that had this yearning of safety, of yearning of asking for for protection. So I thought it was a very beautiful, and that it went with the improvised imagery that you see in the animation of this Sopantli appearing and then being replaced by the imagery of the children being drawn on the page.
Amazing. So I would like to now, if it's okay with you, invite, we have Lael Corbin and Harry Vasquez, who have been a part of the NTC Foundation's advisory group as we work with installations at the station and work with artists like yourself. They've both been working in the San Diego and LA areas and are connected to the community and have just done just absolutely amazing projects. I could probably go on with their bios for a while, but I just want to make sure that, again, I'm with yourself, but I want to make sure we have enough time for the artist talk. And just while I'm here, I also want to just mention it's just such an amazing honor to have worked with you, and also just know that you've had such a great honor with the National Portrait Gallery. And hopefully I'll just ask my question real quick, is just what's that? Well, I'll let Perry and Alel jump into that, but I just look forward to hearing about the National Portrait Gallery. So with that, I'll let you guys take it away, and I'll pull myself off the screen.
All right, hi everybody. First, I want to say just what an honor it is to be able to interview you tonight, Hugo, with Perry. As somebody who grew up in San Diego and was just a few years behind you at San Diego State, your work's been hugely inspirational.
Thank you.
My first question is, you've spoken about the importance of beauty in your work as a tool for really drawing the public in, and then oftentimes presenting imagery and ideas that can be really challenging. Can you talk a little bit about striking that balance and about the need for public art that really challenges public thinking?
Well, I define myself first as a draftsman, somebody who just loves to draw, and I've been drawing since I was 6 years old. So then when it comes to questions like that, like, the aesthetic, a planned aesthetic, you're planning to do something, or this notion of beauty in contrast with the themes that might be hard, and the juxtaposition of both. I think it's all an accident, pretty much. What I do is I just focused on doing a beautiful drawing, a drawing that the way I taught myself how to draw. It's doing this figurative black line on a white page. And that's my first intention, just to do the best drawing that I can. And I think the beauty in it is precisely this, is the craftsmanship of a draftsman, the craftsmanship of a drawing. And then because the way I taught myself how to draw was by copying my old art books, art history books that had all these illustrations in black and white, like they would have Van Gogh paintings, but in black and white. I just love that aesthetic of the black and white, and it translated so well to the drawing that I was working on, with the materials that I was working on, which is simple materials. I don't really know how to paint. I know how to draw, and the materials that I use is pencil, ink, So then that aesthetic from those old art books kind of translated into my method of drawing, and it's just improvising one detail, and then from one detail moving to the next, and to the next, and to the next, and then creating a narrative. So I never really studied drawing even the way an academic draftsman would do it, like in 19th century French academia, the way where you practice drawing from sculpture and the rules of drawing, that is basically you come up with the whole composition first, and details are the last things that you get to. The way I taught myself how to draw was pretty much just starting from the details, drawing one eye perfectly, and then drawing the other eye perfectly, and then the nose, and then the face. And as that progressed, then a narrative started approaching, so started appearing. And that's why when I was talking about the creative process with other artists, a painter would tell me, well, I do preparatory sketches. I do a lot of work beforehand, before I can even get close to the canvas, because painting is an investment. Painting is expensive. And then you spend months on a painting, on an oil painting. And to me, when I heard that process, to me, it seemed very foreign to me. I was a draftsman, and that process of creating a painting was very, very foreign to what I do. But then at some point I started talking with poets, and they would tell me, oh, what I do is I just sit down and think of a word, and then that word is an image, and then that leads me to the next word, and then to the next word, and I start composing a story, a narrative. Each word is an image, each word is a detail, and I start writing and composing a narrative. And I felt that's exactly the process I do also in drawing. It's just details that come together and I improvise a narrative. So then the aesthetic, the beauty of my drawing is basically this intention to do the best drawing that I can, a figurative drawing, which is taken from art history, from comic books, from graffiti, and from the life that I live in Tijuana and San Diego, the aesthetic of the cities, the border, and that's expressed through my drawing. And then the themes just come through this improvisation of putting these details together and this narrative starting appearing on the page. And then, of course, you as a painter, as an artist, you create imagery that you feel very strongly about. They always told me that they would tell me sometimes that a painter paints what he fears and what he loves. It's the extremes. That's what you do. You don't paint the boring parts of life. You paint whatever moves you strong enough to dedicate yourself to create a piece, because it's a lot of work. So then usually that's what goes into my narratives. It's the things that I fear, it's the things that I love, and so then sometimes politics gets involved, the situation of the border gets involved, but it's all done through this eloquence of drawing, which I think it's the purpose of art. You're able to say anything, whatever subject matter, how hard or how beautiful it is, you can express it through the art craftsmanship of drawing or painting, and it's something that will always be presented as a beautiful thing, despite the message that it's presenting.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks.
Hi, Hugo.
Hi, Barry.
It's great to talk to you. I had a chance to chat with you years ago at Voz Alta. We were sitting on the floor after a party, enjoying a couple of beers. Don't remember if you remember or not. I wanted to say how great it is to see you looking well and still doing your work, your important work.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk to you about some of my own interests in your work, but also I'm teaching a painting class at Southwestern College. And on yesterday, I showed them your work and I showed them your animation. And my class is 90% Latina, so many of them are coming from Tijuana, Rosarita, or in Chula Vista, San Diego, and they have connections across the border. So there was a tremendous resonance with your work. Not just the skill with which you assembled the images in a kind of a collage type way, in which, I mean, they were very challenged to, not challenge isn't the right word, they appreciated the compositional approach because we had just talked about cubism and abstraction. And they saw this kind of a fragmentation in your work that I think they recognized and they responded to. We looked at your work over the years, and as we wound up the slideshow, they were very curious because they saw a lot of representations of females, of women. And there were a few examples of men, but I think, would you agree that women figure predominantly in your work? And so, the question that arose, and the one that I'm going to be asked on their behalf as a proxy, is what is your relation to the women in these works? And they were curious to know if you were responding to the crimes of femicide in Mexico, and you were attempting to deal with that issue.
Yes, it's a great question. It's a wonderful question. And first of all, I think that my first intention when I very first started to do my work, to do my drawing, I was very influenced by precisely those art history books that I grew up with. And it's Western thinking, is Western art, and unfortunately is very male oriented. It's always the male gaze of the female body, the Venus and all this. And then also growing up in a very Catholic home, Also, I went to Catholic school, and my mom is very Catholic. My family is very Catholic. I'm, so. Culturally, I'm very Catholic. Culturally, but I grew up with all this imagery also of the Virgin Mary and the saints, Santa Teresita and Santa, all this female imagery that we were supposed to worship and venerate. Well, not worship, venerate is the proper word. So then there was always this image of beauty being presented as a female form, coming from the Western tradition of very male-centric art. But then later on, as I started working with the theme of Tijuana, it's funny to me, the word Tijuana in its sense, people have always debated where the word Tijuana comes from. And there's this tradition, which is false, but it's believed to be, Tijuana, there was a Tia Juana, there was an Aunt Juana that had a ranch, and that's where the name came from, which is not, it's not true. I think Tijuana, I can't remember exactly the exact term of the Kumeyaay, which I think it was people who are close to the ocean. I think that was the term. And it was a word in Kumeyaay that referenced the word Tijuana. But there was this whole notion of, Tijuana as a city, as a female city, as a female presence, the city itself, the Tia Juana, La Tia Juana. No? So then I decided that, with this tradition of seeing the image of the Virgin Mary and this tradition of the male gaze towards women, I felt, well, I wanted to talk about the city where I grew up with. It's a very young city. It's a city of chaos. It's a city of that's, it's all of Latin America pushing towards this very strict, abstract line that's the American border. And so then the city of Tijuana, it's a very chaotic city. And I felt it had these elements of, the myth of Tijuana, of the Tia Juana, but then also the Coatlicue, the Aztec goddess that was venerated, that was representing both life and death. It had those two powers that were, clashing together with the snake face of Coatlicue. So then I felt this, the idea of presenting the issues of Tijuana through this place that's, has a lot of female figures in them, but now also it has a lot of, male figures in. But my first aesthetic was presenting Tijuana as this female empowered place, And then, of course, in the 1990s, the whole issue of the feminicidios was starting to be heard about. The murders in Ciudad Juarez became more prominent, and the news was out there, and that's when I started hearing about the feminicidios. So then it took this edge of the crimes that go unpunished, the impunity that happens towards women, towards children, to their families at the border. So then many of the themes that I'm working on today, especially with my animation, is dealing with these themes of the violence that happens to women when they cross the border. That's exactly, the piece that won the National Portrait Prize Award was a portrait of Berenice Sarmiento Chavez. As I was mentioning before, part of my practice was sitting in Tijuana and just drawing and having conversations with people. And I would hear lots of stories of crossing the border, from young boys to old men saying what happened to them. But then one of the stories that most drew my attention was the story of Berenice. Berenice was a woman who came to me about 3 years ago, and we started talking. I showed her my sketchbook, and she told me her story. And her story just, astounded me. She had crossed over, got into trouble, got deported back to Tijuana, but still had this dream of returning to the United States. I would like everybody to see the video at some point, so I don't want to tell exactly how the arch of the story is, but to me, when she told me the story, I felt it had all the elements of the Odyssey, of Homer's Odyssey. This always intention of reaching this place, but being so far away, being out of touch, but then just the human spirit of fighting to reach it. And then, of course, the extreme violence that happens, or the extreme dangers, because you are a woman, when you're crossing into these situations, you are the most vulnerable or most exposed. But yet her spirit to reach the United States was unbreakable. And then she got even deported and is still trying to go back. So then I felt that that I was doing these projects. Well, I was doing these projects of stop motion drawing animations, and then when the opportunity came to submit something for the National Portrait Gallery, I thought, well, I don't want to do a drawing. I don't want to do a portrait of Berenice in the traditional sense, her likeness. No, I wanted her story to be her portrait. Her story had a lot of exaggerations, and some elements in her story you would even doubt. You would think, well, they're made up, or they're exaggerations, or they might even be lies. But to me, when I heard her story, the way she told it, to me, it didn't matter if it was true, if it was not, if it was factual, if it really happened or not. She told me her story, and to me at that moment, her story defined who she was. So that's the way she wanted to present herself to me. So then I felt, well, that's her portrait. Her story is her portrait, and sometimes we're defined by the stories that we tell ourselves. Every morning we look at the mirror, ourselves in the mirror, and I'm a good person, and we make up the story that we want to project, into our facade. So then I felt the story of Berenice was her portrait, and so then I decided to do this stop motion drawing animation that told her story of her crossing the border and going through the trials and tribulations that she went through, and then that was the story that I presented to the National Portrait Gallery, and I was very happy to that it won the prize. So that was very surprising, but that was my intention to tell the story of a person that's usually usually portraiture is something that's left for the people of power, the people that are in control. They get their portraits done, But in this case, it was the people that are the most disenfranchised, the people that don't have an opportunity to speak, the people that are being incarcerated, the people that are being separated, the people that have no voice. I wanted that portrait to be presented at the National Portrait Gallery, and I was very honored when it won, because it was precisely that. It was in this moment where we're living, where power is everything. People are fighting for power. There was this person that has no power, but there she was at the National Portrait Gallery being presented next to George Washington, next to to great men. There was this woman, her story.
Thank you.
Sure.
Fantastic. Andrew.
Hi guys, I almost hate to pop on here. It's such a moving conversation, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. If we'd like to maybe go a question or two more, but I just want to make sure that we don't go way too long. So if there are any last questions we want to wrap up, or final questions or topics we want to cover, I'm happy to.
I'm just looking in the chat to see if there's anybody who has any questions. I don't see anything coming up, so may I pop in with another question?
Sure.
So I'm really fascinated by the way you classify yourself as a draftsman, and that's your identity, and there's something very constrained about seeing yourself in a very workmanlike way. And I wonder if you what is your relationship to your materials? Do you have any kind of, in terms of your process, do you have any rituals that you go through that allow you to arrive at this in your creative sweet spot, even if it's just going out to the street to draw?
Yeah. Well, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so then I never had access to great materials. So then it was always the most elemental things, like the ballpoint pen, or a pencil. It was the cheapest materials, and then as I started progressing with my work, and they would recommend me, buy this material, this pen, which is very important. I was never comfortable with, I was always comfortable with my materials, the materials that I've been working on all through my youth, all through my life, the ballpoint pen, pencil, and charcoal and dust. using my hand and my fingers, and now I'm starting to use paint for murals, and I'm using Nova Color paint, which I found is, it's very affordable but wonderful paint for doing murals. So then I try to keep it, like I mentioned earlier about this idea of performance, and when I do my murals, is keep it as simple as possible. All my work is as simple as possible. You don't need expensive materials. You don't need, even when I'm doing my stop motion drawing animation, I'm using a $100 little camera to do the photographs when I do the stop motion, and I recorded sound in my phone. So it's just the basic materials, the most simplest materials, the cheapest materials, but then it's the skill. It's the skill of drawing. It's the beauty of the craftsmanship, the eloquence of the story that you're trying to tell. I'm hoping that is what elevates everything, And I've been able to show in galleries in New York and LA, and there are the simplest materials: canvas with pencil, and charcoal, and ballpoint pen, or my sketchbooks are all ballpoint pen. So it's the simplest materials, but you can have beautiful results. So you don't need expensive materials. It's just practice, and practice with the simplest things, because sometimes we get, I remember going to a painter's studio, and I would see all these jars and all these paintbrushes and all these paints. It was a huge investment, and I got overwhelmed. You come in, it looked like an alchemist lab. A painter usually has their studios like that. You come to my studio and it's the barest thing. It just has pencils, charcoal, and a wall full of drawings. And that's the way I like it. It's the simplest materials and the simplest way of presenting something. But then it's the skill, it's the drawing, it's the practice, and it's the conversation that happens with people that feed the work and will lead it, will make it important and good.
I had one last technical question as well. As you're moving into the stop motion animations, and I've been curious about kind of what have been the challenges there, what have been the rewards there. Has there been anything that's been kind of that wonderful serendipitous surprise?
Well, I started working these, I was ill for a year. I was very ill. So then I couldn't work in my studio. I couldn't do the huge drawings. I couldn't do anything. So then I just started working on my sketchbook, started working small. And then that's where this process of doing the stop motion drawing animation, because it was all in my, like in a little space like this, So I would take a picture, do a drawing, take a picture, and then once I had like 1,000 pictures of a whole drawing appearing on a page, I would give it to my partner, Teresa. We would put it up on the computer and see the animation. So then we need to have sound. So then we would go record something, and that's how it came all together. So it was very improvised. I didn't know what I was doing, but it just looked well, and it had a good story. And so then I started presenting it. I did this project called the Tijuana Bibles, and I presented it at Luis de Jesus in Los Angeles. And that was the first time that I presented these stop motion drawing animations. And then I presented it to the National Portrait Gallery, the portrait of Berenice Sarmiento Chavez, and it won an award. And I was very happy. I'm doing video art. But then at some point I decided, I was looking you're always looking for something to do. You're looking for grants, you're trying to apply for this, you're applying to a residency, whatever. And then at some point I saw, the film festival in Morelia, the International Film Festival in Morelia in Mexico. It's very easy to apply. I realized, sometimes the film world seems to be more democratic than the art world. Usually in the art world, you need a ton of references. You need to have, I don't know how many solo shows to apply to anything, or you're invited. You don't have a straight path in. You have to get invited by a curator or somebody who knows. So it's not this open ground to enter. But I felt that film festivals, they don't require that you have a resume. If you have a film, you send it in, and if they like it, it gets selected. So then that's what I did. I just presented a short film called A Home for the Brave. It's a 3-minute stop motion drawing animation, and I just presented it I submitted it to the film festival in Morelia, and it got selected.
So then it was a huge surprise. Last week I went to the film festival, and there I was confronted with real filmmakers. There was people who, usually to do a stop motion, to do an animation, some people work for years on their project. There was this film that took us 5 years to do it. There's 200 collaborators, and like filmmaking is a collaborative enterprise. And there I was with, just me and Teresa. We were the only ones who worked on this, and we presented our film, and it was validated as cinema. So then we got to see it on a huge screen, no longer on a computer screen, but this time on a big theater screen, movie theater. So that was a wonderful surprise. I hope it will happen again. I doubt it, but we're going to keep submitting. But it was a great validation of our little film, our little process being presented as cinema. And when I asked me, well, where's your crew? What camera do you use? I would show the things that I did it with, and they were all surprised. And then I would come with the rhetoric of, well, this is pandemic cinema. At this moment, we're living in a time where huge film productions are paused because we can't get together. We're living in a moment of pandemic. So then this is an opportunity for these moments of creativity with the least possible resources. Just a little camera, of drawing on a piece of paper, and recording sound from the street. You can create a narrative, you can create a story, and you can make film with the cheapest of materials. So then it was a great validation that one of my little films was invited to participate in a film festival. So I was very happy.
Well, thank you, Hugo, Lale, Perry. From the bottom of my heart, personally, I can't tell you how inspirational and how amazing and moving this talk has been with the three of you. And I can't think of a better topic to have ended our very first virtual First Friday with such a moving theme of going from, a mana ladder and some paintbrush to the movie screen. I mean, and just through dedication, perseverance, and passion. So, and I know that's an oversimplification, but it's just so moving to hear that from you firsthand. Lale and Perry, thank you very much for your time, for interviewing, and for working with us on this as well. Our programs wouldn't be so deep and rich without your input and participation throughout the years as the projects we work on. But so thank you again to the guests at Liberty Station. Thank you for joining us. It's just been an amazing evening. And thank you again to our sponsor, Bank of Southern California. And hopefully everybody had a good time, and we look forward to you coming back next month. Again, we'll be broadcasting live from Solare Ristorante right here in Arts District. And we look forward to bringing you all kinds of new, amazing programs. And we'll talk to you all again soon. So thank you and have a great evening.